Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David, beginning with the 144,000, and the rest of the men, women, and children out of the 12 tribes whom Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai will ultimately have mercy upon in these last days. I am your brother Matazabath from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Melbourne, Australia. All right. And this is just going to be another news and prophecy update as we continue to get another step closer to the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast. Okay, which emphatically is the RFID micro C-hip. All right. And this comes via way an article from the peoplesvoice.tv. Okay. Published May 21st, 2026. And the title reads, Healthcare Providers Forcing Americans to Surrender Biometric Data for Digital ID to Earn Medical Care. Okay, so again, we've been telling you, beginning with the beloved Elder Apostle Tahar on down, okay, that these things that has been said in the scriptures are faithful and true and will come to pass. Okay. So let's have a quick read of this. It says, the healthcare systems are now openly forcing patients to surrender their biometric data, fingerprints, facial scans, iris patterns, or risk losing access to medical care and benefits. All right. This isn't optional, and hospitals, insurers, and big tech partners are rapidly rolling out biometric verification across portals, telehealth, and digital records. Refuse to comply and you're locked out. And Bill Gates famously admitted the end game, accept digital ID or be excluded from society. And he wasn't joking. The healthcare industry claims this is about fighting cyber attacks and identity fraud. Yet, after decades of catastrophic data breaches that expose hundreds of millions of Americans' sensitive health records, their solution isn't less digitization, it's more invasive tracking. And see, that's the main issue where a lot of people are not hip to. Okay. Being that out of all of these situations, certain telephone companies hit with an outage. The airports hit with an outage. Okay. Certain cities and states or whatever hit with a power outage or whatever the case may be. What Esau is doing, he's just creating the scenario of fear mongering, right? But what doesn't make sense is he's telling you at the same time, but we still got to go towards we got to digitalize everything because the way that this is happening. But if we just get everybody together and digitize everything will be so much safer or whatever. No, that's a cover up. If anything, you will be trying to move away from that and say, okay, well, this is not working, so we may have to do something differently. Right? Not go in the same direction. And then you're not giving the people, you're telling the people we have to do this because it's going to be more safe and secure, but you haven't showed them how. But what you are showing them is how you're going to have total control over every single thing and movement that they actually do. You haven't alluded to how you're going to stop the cybersecurity, how you're going to stop the hackers. See, these are the type of questions that need to be asked. But Esau, he's just going to run away from it. Okay, as he always does, continuing on. Instead of securing or reducing vulnerable systems, they're doubling down on biometrics. You see that? Companies like One Cosmos are pushing government ID checks combined with biometric matching and liveness detection just to let patients access their own medical information. Now they're using fears of AI deepfakes and impersonation as the last excuse. And partnerships like Zoom with Tools for Humanity are rolling out real-time human verification tech for virtual doctor visits. And every interaction must be biometrically approved. This is the class security arms race. They always win. Create digital dependency, suffer endless breaches, then demand even more personal data as the fix. The biometric healthcare market is exploding toward $4.5 billion by 2034. And hospitals and insurers aren't protecting you. They're building a permanent digital prison where your face, fingerprints, and eyes become mandatory keys to the healthcare. This is no longer medicine. This is biological surveillance disguised as care. And that's all it is. And we've been telling you, beginning with the apostles, the bishops, and elders on down. It says Americans now face a brutal choice. Surrender your unique biometric identity to the system and embrace the mark of the beast, or be denied treatment when you need it most. The trap is closing. And see, this is why Yahweh Shai said, all right, let's get it. We'll start off with that precept. Get this here. Let's see. All right. Matthew, we'll get the 1 and 16 verse. Matthew 16 and 25, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. Now, what did Yahweh Shai mean when he said that? Well, to save your life, meaning you're going to, just for you to be comfortable, just for you to have the things that you were accustomed of in this society, you're trusting in this beast system. And so when this society collapsed and they established this new world order, the only way for you to go back to everything being normal is you're going to have to take the chip that they're going to implement, Revelation, the 13th chapter. So essentially, if you trust and pledging your allegiance to the beast system, that's a way of you saving your life rather than you having patience, okay, and waiting on Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai to pull you out of the fire, okay, in time of salvation, because salvation, when you go into it, literally means to be saved from impending danger. Okay. But he goes on to say, and whosoever would lose his life for my sake shall find it. Because if you are willing to be patient and hold out, knowing that this devil is going to implement these changes, he's going to establish his enterprise, right? Even if it costs you your life, Yahweh Shah said what? I would give thee the crown of life. Right? Let's get that. Revelation 2 and 10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Because we're in a time of suffering. A great deal of persecution is coming. What else are we going to suffer? We're going to suffer food rationing. Okay, many of us are going to go without eating for a day or two, a week. We don't know how it's going to play out because there's a famine coming. Right? Then when the chip hits, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. That all leads to suffering. Right? So it says, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, concentration camps, that ye may be tried. See, your faith is going to be tried. Right? Because you're going to have to make a choice. Do you want to save your life so that you can lose it? Or are you willing to lose your life so that you can actually save it? And it's all going to come together. It says that you may be tried and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. OK, then that can be in a literal sense, or, it can go longer than that. OK, everybody's lot is different. We don't know how it's going to play out. It says, but what? Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee the crown of life. OK, because those who have are going to be martyrs for this truth, who are going to die in the faith of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah, the scripture says they're going to be risen first. They're going to wake up to everlasting life. That's the crown of life. So as Yahweh Shah said, when we read in Matthew the 16th chapter, he that saveth his life shall lose it, but he that loseth his life for my sake, because what? You were patient, like the scripture says. Let's go to Revelation 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. Okay. You kept the endurance. You persevered. You remained faithful all the way up into the end. You didn't get swayed by the left or the right. You kept, through the straight gate, as the scriptures tells us in Matthew the 7th chapter. Right? It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also would keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. See, if you just had stayed and waited it out, even if it cost you your life. Okay, because even the Lord said, when you get the Apocrypha, let's get Sirach 4, I believe it's 28. It says, strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. Right? And Yahweh Shem Shai, he's going to fight for us, man. Right? But we got to do our part on this side. And when I mean our part, I'm speaking to you Israelites, the hopeful elect. You see? So now let's go from there. Okay. And let's go to Habakkuk, because this is the vision. Okay. And I'm going to start at the top. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. All right. And again, when you go into that word run, it means to break down speedily, to divide. And what are we doing? We're dividing the word of truth. Okay. And what's that? 1 Timothy 2:15. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So everything, beginning with the apostles, the bishops and elders on down, have been telling us, okay, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, guess what? It's now manifested. We're here. Okay. So continuing on, let's go from there to Psalms 37 and verse 7. It says, rest in Yahweh. And how do you do that? How do you rest in Yahweh Shema Shai? By taking heed according to the word. Okay, this is how Yahweh Shema Shai has given us rest, because we understand the prophecies and we understand how this is all going to play out. That's why Isaiah 33:6 says what? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, the strength of thy salvation, man. See, once you know these scriptures and how the story plays itself out, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You just have to let it play itself out. You ain't got nothing to worry about. Right? So it says, rest in Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, and wait patiently for him. Did we not just read in Revelation 3:10? Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. The key part in there is you've kept the word, because you've read it, you've studied it, you've analyzed it, and you've applied it in your day-to-day walk within this ministry. That's how you're resting. You're allowing for things to play out as they should. Right? It says, rest in Yahweh and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. And that's Esau, Edom. Okay. And those devices goes into his, him plotting, okay, bringing his wicked thoughts to pass, scheming, okay, his inventions, all of that. Okay. But we know, according to 1 Corinthians 2, okay, and Salakia 2 Corinthians 2:11, it says, let Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. See, we're not ignorant to these things, because it has been made known unto us, the servants, the prophets. And this is why we have been called, and hopefully we are also chosen And we have been set up and ordained to teach this word, to let the sheep know what time we're in, what's really going on behind closed doors. Okay. So let's go from there to Psalms 55. All right. And 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Because here it is, they'll tell you that, listen, this is for your own safety. Okay, we're going to make sure that nobody's going to steal your credentials. We're going to make sure that, to really make sure that it's you, because a lot of the artificial intelligence, a lot of the AI that's going on with these servant engines and stuff like that, they can create an AI version of you. So in order for us to tell from the AI version of you and from who you truly are, we need to implement this type of system, not understanding behind closed doors that it's all okay for greater evils to control you. So yeah, they'll speak smooth words and tell you how this will accompany you and how this will work for your favor. But really, they're not telling you how this is going to completely destroy you. Okay. And this is why the scripture says, and let's get Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. It says, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. See that? Never trust thy enemy. And the scriptures tells you this. And this is why the scriptures tell you, if you take the chip, Revelation 14, verses 9 and 10, you're going to be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels in Yahweh Shai. All right. So before we end off on that, okay, this is setting up the stage for what? Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And if you watch my lessons from time to time, you would have saw that I brought out information here in the blue letter. Okay. And I might do a separate lesson on that, Lord's will, where it actually shows you how they're going to use that chip to have all of your medical data and information in it. Okay. But the point of the matter is, this is what we are warning you about. And if you take this chip, this is what's going to happen to you. We're going to close out here, Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed him, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. You see? Now, you have to understand, when you worship the beast in his image, the beast in his image is going into this very system. Okay. The overall system within itself, from its laws, okay, its way of life, philosophies, everything that it entails. Okay, that includes its AI, intelligence, all of that. And in order for you worship that system by taking its mark, which is going to tie you into its internet of bodies, its cloud, in order for you to take part within the society. Okay, because that mark serves as a badge of servitude to the beast system. You see? And this is what we've been trying to warn. So, just a little update to, them taking it a step further from the medical field. And see, a lot of people, this is going to hurt them, because think about the people that are suffering right now on different medications and whatnot. So now they're going in the direction, the same thing like they did with, the pandemic back in 2020. in between the years of the end of 2020 to about 2022, when they brought out the serpent juice, the jump shot, they told you what? Look, if you don't take this, okay, you're not going to be able to go to work, go to work. You're not going to be able to enter into this place or whatever the case may be. So now they're telling you that, look, if you don't give us your biometric data, you're going to be neglected and locked out of the system of medical care. So we're going to see a lot of people is going to fold because they don't have the trust and faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in these last days, man. A lot of people are going to fold, man. And this is serious. So with that, that's all I have. I pray that this lesson was edifying. Giving all praise once again to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash, double honors again to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David. Shalom.